Heyo! Welcome back to the Void. Unusual, I know. I am not streaming, so this is not a VOD. We are here today in a game called Spinner Rogueblade because the devs got in contact with me through my business email, and they had asked me to check it out. This is not paid. It's not sponsored. I haven't even replied to their email yet. I'm gonna reply to their email after I finish recording this. But the developers / publishers are Ancient Tech, and as you can see, it is Beyblade inspired. I don't know if they made their own soundtrack or if this is some royalty-free music they got from somewhere, but it puts you in the mood. The music right out of the gate puts you in the mood for some epic gameplay. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Press space to continue. They have this little introduction pop-up. Hello, Spinner Warrior. This demo represents an early prototype of our game. Our goal is to share the core gameplay mechanic with you at an early stage and hear your feedback. The demo does not yet feature the full roguelike progression loop we're aiming for, but we want to build this game together with our community, which is nice. We always love devs that communicate with the community. You can support us by adding the game to your Steam wishlist and stay updated by joining our Steam community. Your support means the world to us. Enjoy the battle. The Spinner Rogueblade team. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at the main menu here. So first off, they've got right down here, little add to wishlist button. I'm assuming once the game is out and like fully released, this is probably gonna change from an add to wishlist button to something like, I don't know, updates or just general info about the progression of the game. They also have their Discord, which is great. You can go and join their Discord and give them all your feedback. And they have a separate contact button that goes directly to their email. So if you don't like Discord, you can use their email. And this just, on the right here, just repeats that little intro. Escape to quit, E for next page. So next page is these. These are your pages up here. You go from home. So when you hit E, you could also hit Q now that you're on the second page to go back to the previous page. So you're in home, you're in play. They've got 4 maps currently available. They have boss reveal, 2 boss stages, Ghost Dragon and Crystal Tiger. They've got your settings, which incorporates multiple different languages, which is awesome. Obviously, I speak English, so I'm gonna leave it on English. They have UI scale. I don't think I need to mess with that. They've got audio, which I think I am gonna turn down just a tad, because I don't want the music too loud over my voice. That should be a good volume. Sound effect volume, we'll bring that back right down about the same. As of right now, that is their only audio. I can't imagine there's any reason to add any other. All you really need is music and sound effects. There's not a whole lot. Like, there's no voice acting or anything. There's no voice volume in this game, at least yet. Who knows what they have planned. But right now, just music and sound effects. As far as visuals, you've got your resolution, your window mode, VSync. You've got your quality. Starts out at medium. Ooh, my cat just bumped my mic out of the way. Starts out at medium. You can go high, and then you can go. It takes a second to load in here. Ultra. So I am actually going to put it on Ultra. And I am going to do VSync because my frames are blasting off there in the top right, 240. So as far as settings go, not too in-depth. I mean, I don't know how many controls there is no controls in the settings. So I imagine there's not anything too complicated, probably just your basic WASD for movement. We're gonna go ahead and get into play. We're gonna look at every map, and we're gonna start off at the grassy lands. I really like this background with the two Beyblades out of the gate. Okay. Spacebar does nothing. Shift seems to do nothing. It looks like they have invisible boundary here around the edge of the map. I really like the grass. I love how you cut a pathway in the grass. It looked like some of the other stages, like there was a snow stage. I'm assuming you're going to do the same thing in the snow, which is awesome. I wonder if the grass grows back at all, or if once you cut it, that's it. Alright, that seems like the boundary. Our arena is about that big. They got the divot here in the center, which is your typical Beyblade arena. And then you just go into your enemies. Okay, that was wave 1. 1 enemy. Next enemy count 1. You can choose from power, speed, health. I'm gonna choose power first. I want to shred through my enemies as fast as possible. Okay, health, speed, power again. We'll go ahead and do more power. So, one thing I will say, the camera is centered on your Beyblade, which is obvious. I mean, that's exactly what you want. You want your camera centered on your character. I feel like, I mean, I guess they have this invisible wall here, so there's nothing that's going to probably spawn outside this boundary. What are we on, wave 3 right now? It seems like everything spawns in the center here in the divot arena. But if they have all this open space here, I would like to see enemies spawn in this space. Because if they intend for you to spend most of your time in this arena, you know, all the enemies are spawning here, right? Yeah, they're all spawning here. Like, realistically, there's no real reason to have this wide open space if everything's going to spawn in the center here, and you're going to spend pretty much most of your time in the center here. The divot's cool because it's obviously an homage to the inspiration Beyblade, and it makes a lot of sense. I do like the divot, but it would be cool to have a reason to utilize the rest of this space. And if we are going to use the rest of this space, it would be cool to see, I don't know, can I hit escape? I cannot hit escape, so that's not in the game yet. I can't hit escape to pull up a menu, so if I want to quit, I'm assuming I just have to let them kill me. Oh no, there's a back to main menu right here in the bottom right. So they do have a way to exit, which is good. I don't have to actually sit here and get wailed on. It also seems like they don't have a whole lot of other upgrades available just yet. I'm being stripped bare to... Look at how small I am now. I am being stripped bare to the bone. Yeah, it would be nice to see a reason to use the rest of the space. I haven't put any upgrades... into speed, and I'm still outpacing the enemies completely. On, what wave are we on? I don't know, because there is no indicator. So that is one thing to add, definitely. Just to have a constant reminder of what wave you're on in the top here. So right now we're on wave 9. Let's see that up here. So wave 9. I'm on wave 9 and I'm still completely outpacing my enemies. I don't know how many, if there's like endless or if there is eventually, like maybe you get to wave 10 or 20 or whatever and there's a boss fight. I don't know. Oh, I'm dead. That's peculiar. I'm supposedly dead, but according to my HP bar in the bottom left here, I still have more than 50% of my health. So I don't know if the damage is tracking properly. Like, I could physically see the damage on my Beyblade. My parts were getting stripped off. I was getting stripped bare to the bone there. But my health bar is above 50%. And I believe this is... I actually don't know what this bar below my health is. I assume it's like stamina. Oh, we could customize. It looks like just colors at the moment. I'm sure they probably I'm sure they probably plan to add a lot more. But as of right now, it appears to just be colors, which is fine. I like that. I haven't seen like a roadmap on the Steam page or anything. Maybe I just didn't look hard enough. I don't know. But I'm sure there's a lot they still plan to add. This is obviously just bare bones, as they said in their little intro. Okay, yes, play. Okay, so this one doesn't have the dome. This one is the divot. This one is... Oh, and this is it. This is the edge of the map. So this is much smaller than the grass. Okay. See, I feel like as of right now, this is probably the perfect size for your map. The grasslands felt way too big. Especially because, like, what did I get to wave 9 and I was still outpacing my enemies? Like, it's fairly easy to run away and create distance and heal. Were they doing damage to each other? So the enemies do damage to each other. If I just stay away, they'll chip away at each other. So that's something to take note of. That is a definite strategy there. I don't even have to interact with the enemies and they'll just kill each other off. So I don't know. In terms of a roguelike, that might create a bit of an easy gameplay. It might be better for the enemies to not do damage to each other, because I can literally just kite them around and I don't even have to do anything. If I have the patience, I can complete every wave just by doing this. I don't even have to interact with them. So it might be better for them to not do damage to each other, or at least have like specific enemy types or specific reasons for them to do damage to each other. Like if you have a upgrade in the future where me killing a Beyblade causes it to explode and that explosion damages the other Beyblades next to it. Because like right now, I'm just kiting. And they're off on each other. My health bar on the bottom left looks at about 50%, but my physical Beyblade looks perfectly fine. So I definitely don't think the damage is tracking properly just yet. Yeah, I legit don't even have to do anything. All I have to do is wait for one of them to die. And when there's one left, I can just get in there But, I mean, that's boring, right? That's boring. Obviously, you want to go in there and smack things up yourself. It's pretty streamlined. Again, like they said, the proper addictive roguelike loop that they plan to add isn't in the game yet. So it's pretty simple and straightforward: health, speed, damage. I would say, as I was mentioning earlier, maybe try and boost the stats of the enemies each wave, like increase their movement speed so they can catch up to you. Give me a reason to put a level into speed. Give me a reason to put a level into health. You know, right now all I'm picking is power, and I can just kite them around the map. This has a lot of potential though, honestly, because as bare bones as it is, it still feels really good. And all I'm doing is using WASD. That is one of the good things, that is one of the main things about video games that you need, is movement that feels good. If the player doesn't feel good moving around the environment, it's going to be hard to get into the game and enjoy the rest of it. That is, I know that's one reason why I still continue to play Apex Legends to this day, is because of that movement that they have. The movement in Apex Legends is so fluent and smooth and fast that anytime I try and play any other FPS game, I feel stuck. I feel like I'm walking with my feet in the mud. So movement and really fluent, good feeling movement is extremely important in games, and this game's got that down right. At least it feels good to move. I will say though, I think it would be cool to incorporate a jump so I can jump over my enemies if I need to, or a dash or something, because those are always gonna be really fun movement tech. That's gonna be really fun for the player to play around with. Jump and dashing. I don't know, again, maybe there's already plans to add that, but that is definitely one thing I would like to see, because I wanna put my fingers on some more buttons. WASD's nice, WASD's good, it's comfortable, it's home, I'm familiar with WASD, but I also want to see some trick shots. I want to jump over these enemies, I want to dash into them, and like, essentially, I really want to sumo them. That would actually be a really cool mechanic to add into this game, because in the actual Beyblades, they have their dome, their arena that they're fighting in, and there's two ways winning. You either stop them from spinning, or you knock them out of the arena. And that's like the sumo effect. You push them out. If they can incorporate that into this game, I think that would add a whole element to the gameplay. And that would incorporate a whole bunch of different types of upgrades they can add, aside from health, speed, and power. Or that could even be an aspect to power. Like, if they add the dash mechanic and all I have to do is press the shift button to do a little jump forward and dash and like launch into the enemies. If I have more power than the enemy, I like knock them back and knock them out of the ring. And that either, I don't know, that either insta-kills them. I would assume insta-kill, because that makes sense in like the Beyblade commentary. If they're knocked out of the arena, they lose. But yeah, as of right now, all I'm doing is just kiting. Oh, we took each other out. Did that actually count as me winning though? No. We took each other out, but I technically beat the wave. And so now the next wave started and I'm dead. That's funny. I like the snow level. I definitely think, as the game is right now, that size of map feels a lot better. I would like to like the grassy land, I like the size of this, but it needs to be utilized more. Snowy forest is perfect for what the game is right now. Let's check out desert. Let's see how big this map is. Okay, so this is basically the exact same size as the snowy lands. So I don't know why the grassy land was the only one that was so big. I don't know what is their true intention for the map size. If they plan to keep grassy land that size, or if they're gonna tone it down to the same size as the snow and desert. Although, on another note, that could be another layer of wave progression. Like, Wave 1 starts out in this small arena. Wave 2 opens it up wider a little bit. Enemies are, I don't know, bigger, faster. There's a lot you could play with. The size of them, their speed, their health, their damage. Obviously, a lot of those are basic. But if the size of the arena opens up with each wave and there's more enemies and there's more reason and room to kite around, I really like the markings on the arena that we leave. Like, I love that the sand is all torn up and shredded from the Beyblades. That's so cool. And this is just a personal note. This would have like zero effect on the actual gameplay, but I would love to see the arena refresh every wave too. Just so I can see fresh marks going over this desert sand and the snow and the grassland. Just to see fresh marks every wave. I think that would be fun. That would itch a part of my brain. So yeah, pretty basic right now. I'm just gonna kite them around a little bit. Definitely need like a field of view slider as well, because I would like to be zoomed out a little bit. I feel like the camera is a bit too close for my comfort for this kind of game. I'm gonna go back to menu. I'm not gonna play till I die, because I don't plan to make too long of a video here. We're gonna go ahead and check out the next hexagon. I kind of want to... Okay, so this is more your standard arena. They have these divots in here. So it almost makes me think that they already planned to add that sumo effect of like having knockback and being able to push and aggressively knock your enemies off. Like right now they're blocked by the invisible wall. But there is potential, just judging by the shape of the arena, that they already planned to add that knockback. Like, I really just want to push them off so badly. That would be so satisfying. And of course, you don't want to make it too easy either, because right now it's easy because I can just kite around the map and let the enemies grind against each other. If you add the sumo in so I can push them off the map, I don't want it to be so easy that I can just bully them off the map either. And obviously, that's how games work. Everything needs to have its perfect balance to just feel right, and those are things you can work on and tweak and playtest. But definitely want to push things off. And I'm assuming they're probably gonna add more stats in terms of like criticals and stuff. I would like to see some damage ticking. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to main menu. I would like to see some damage ticking in terms of more than just a health bar, like an actual quantity of how much health they have in numbers, and damage ticking so I can see how much damage I'm doing and see how much I'm actually scaling. And just obviously, if there is going to be damage ticks added, just an option in the settings for people who don't want that to turn it off. So we've done all of the stages. I think my favorite is actually the snowy forest. I'll be honest with you, I would say the grassy land because I love gliding through the grass, not glass. Good gosh, my English is not with me today. I really like the feeling of gliding through the grass the most. It feels really cool to mow the lawn while slaughtering enemies, but just the sheer size of it feels unnecessary. I love the size of the desert and snowy forest and the hexagon arena. But again, they're all very basic, very bare minimum. I don't even know. This says boss reveal. I don't even know if we're going to be fighting the bosses. This might just be the cutscene for the bosses. Let's go ahead and do dragon. Okay. Yeah, so that's just the cutscene. We're not fighting them just yet. Back to main menu. Ooh. Oh gosh, that is so unsettling. That toothy grin. Good lord. So right now, Ghost Dragon and Crystal Tiger. I wonder how many more they're gonna add. Probably a lot, I would assume. The intros are pretty good. Could use a little work, a little bit more cinematic. Let's look at the Ghost Dragon again. Yeah, it's definitely cool. Needs a bit more cinematic. Really want to feel that impact. Okay, so that's pretty much everything in the demo as of right now. Yeah, I think that's everything. So I'm probably gonna wrap it up there then. We've been recording for 28 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and hop into Grassland here and just kind of give my wrapping statements. As far as upgrades go, it's almost hard to make suggestions because I know this is bare bones and not at all what they intend for the finished product. Like, they're gonna add more upgrades and stuff. I guess my main feedback would be the sizes of the arenas. I love the grassland. I love mowing the lawn. Way too big as of right now. The enemies need to spawn not just in the center of the arena. Unless it's that small of a map. I mean, where else are they going to spawn if the map is that small? But working on the size of the maps for sure. And I personally, I like the idea of increasing the size each wave. Or you could take some inspiration from other games like this and keep the map big and put items on the map. like little upgrade stations or whatever to change out your parts. Like there definitely needs to be more physical parts for the Beyblade and not just like upgrades that do health, stamina, damage. Like if there's an upgrade that adds blades on the Beyblade, or I guess I should say spinner, because Beyblade is probably copyrighted and they're obviously not calling these Beyblades, they're calling them spinners. So yeah, physical upgrades on the spinners would be great. Blades or whatever, like a ball and chain or something. Oh, you know what would be also fun? Adding, if I could shoot a projectile or something. Like just clicking with my mouse and aiming. That would add another dynamic to it. And not having it, because obviously the main point of the game is the spinner combat and bashing into each other. So you wouldn't want to suddenly turn it into a shooter where I'm shooting at my enemies instead of hitting into them. But if I could just like, if I just had something that I could like shoot out, like an oil slick or something, like I can click and shoot out an oil slick and slow my enemies down or something, or like a little electrical field, just something, some sort of utility item that I can shoot and interact with the enemies. That would be fun. What else? Man, this is, I apologize. This is my first time doing something like this. It is not easy to gather my thoughts. Here, let me go back to the main menu. Maybe I can focus a little more if I'm not actively playing the game. So, the arenas. Whatever it is you plan to do, pick whether you want it to be an open, from the start, a big open map. If it is a big open map, maybe zoom the camera out a little bit so we're not so zoomed in. It's good to have a bird's eye view of your character and the map you're working with. Having it too far zoomed in makes it feel a little suffocating in a way and claustrophobic, because I want to be able to see the enemies coming in at me. I don't want to be so zoomed in that the enemies are on me the moment I see them. And something like that is going to happen as you increase the enemy movement speed with the waves. So in, say, wave 20, when the enemies are boosted their movement speed by like 50 and they're flying at you, if you're so zoomed in on your character on the map, those enemies are going to zoom in off screen and they're going to be on top of you before you even see them coming, and you're not going to have a whole lot of time to react. So it's got to be zoomed out a little bit, more visual of the area around you. If you plan to keep the maps the big size, or if you're going to shrink them all down to a certain fixed size, enemies got to spawn more than just center. They got to spawn like around in areas, just for a little bit more unpredictability. If you know exactly where the enemies are going to spawn every time, it becomes a little stagnant. It becomes predictable. You know exactly where they're coming, how to react, especially if you start adding items into the game in terms of like utility items, like I mentioned earlier. If they're all going to constantly spawn in the center, you can just set up and immediately gank them from the start. Just throw all your utility items down right at the start of the wave, and they're all going to spawn in on that spot and just take tons of AoE damage or whatever, what have you, from whatever gets added into the game. So they definitely need to spawn in multiple different locations, not just the center. If you plan to have the map start small and increase every wave, that could be fun, but I think I would personally prefer starting with a big map, just having more of a reason to move around and utilize it. Because if you're having it get larger each wave, it kind of, it feels like there's not really a point. Like, you're only increasing the size of the map to compensate for the quantity of enemies and their speed. But if you have it constantly large and there's items and stuff and reasons to go around it, it feels a little bit more welcoming and interactable. You want your map to be interactable with your player. As far as upgrades go, I'm sure you guys already have a ton of things in the works, more than just health, stamina, power, physical things. I think you mentioned that somewhere. It might have been on the Steam page. I don't think it was actually in the game. I was reading a little bit on the Steam page. I think you guys mentioned more than just color, but that might have been referring to cosmetics. But actual physical upgrades that make a difference to the spinner in combat, that as well needs to be added for sure. It could also be cool to see class types for your spinner to have a bit of a boost for what build you might be wanting to go for, like a tanky person, a little bit more health, maybe a little bit slower, average damage, stuff like that. You could have your baseline spinner, just straight even stats across the board. So it's kind of like whatever items you get, you can build into. You're not really going for anything specific. Definitely remove enemies doing damage to each other, because that's just gonna make things a bit too easy, I feel like. I mean, granted, I know that makes sense because of the style of, like, the inspiration of the game from Beyblade. Everything that's gonna grind against each other and hit into each other should do damage to each other. But from a gameplay perspective, if I can just let the enemies base tank each other and I don't even have to interact with them, it becomes a little too easy. There needs to be more of a legitimate reason for the enemies to take damage from each other. Something like explosion. Like, that would be cool. Like, if I'm grinding against an enemy and as their parts are flying off, like every time they pop and have a bit of parts fall off, there's a little bit of a pop explosion effect that damages the enemies around. That could work, something like that. Again, this one's also just a little personal thing. I think I would love for the map to refresh every wave so I can just do new grind trails through the snow, the grass, the sand, just so it's not like completely decayed by the time I'm level 50. There's something, again, it makes the map interactable. It makes it a little bit more fun because I can see that visual of going around the map, and I can see my trail. I can see the progress of myself and the enemies going around. It just makes it a little bit more fun and interactable. Jump, dash, stuff like that. A little bit more movement mechanics, make it a little bit more fun. What else? It would be cool, like you have the Ghost Dragon and the Crystal Tiger. Again, these could be inspiration from Beyblade, or it could just be like you need a boss, and so Dragon, Crystal Tiger. But I do know, I'm not well versed in Beyblade, but I do know that each Beyblade kind of had like some sort of spirit animal inside of it. It could be cool if that is something that you could select from the main menu. Like if you had your own personal spirit animal and there was some kind of ultimate you could charge. Like here, let me hop into a level so I can explain it better. So like as I'm hitting enemies, right? If there was some kind of ultimate bar charging up, let me use my mouse because you can't actually see where I'm pointing with my finger. Down here, like in between where the back to main menu is and my health bar and speed, right here, if there was some kind of ultimate gauge that charged up and I had some sort of ultimate that I can activate based off whatever spirit animal I choose for my spinner, that would be really sick. And I mean, even if you want to start it off where like you don't have any unlocked and you have to beat a boss to unlock that spirit animal, like say I beat the Ghost Dragon and then I unlock the Ghost Dragon and I can pick the Ghost Dragon at the start of a mission and I have some sort of ultimate ability from the Ghost Dragon. Something like that. I don't know. I almost forgot about this as well. Definitely need some kind of wave tracker mid thing. So I'm on wave what? 2, wave 3. So that needs to be displayed up here. Maybe even a little mini map. Maybe even a little mini map with red dots. Because if you're going to make it a big map, it'd be cool to have some kind of visual of where things are. Kind of like Megabonk. How they have a map in that, and you can press the tab button to open up a bigger map and kind of get a visual of the land. Of course, that's only really needed if you do make the map big and you put interactables on the map. I think that kind of wraps up my feedback. My brain is spinning here because I'm also aware that I'm recording a video and making content in a way, but definitely open to checking this game out again. I think it has a lot of potential. I could see this being a really fun roguelike if they do it well. Another thing to think about is if you want it to be stagnant on one map. So there's another game that I've played called Orcs Must Die Death Trap. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Orcs Must Die, that franchise. They were not originally a roguelike type game, but Orcs Must Die Death Trap is kind of a new game in their series that they made, where they basically took their game model and they turned it into a roguelike. And you play on one map for 6 waves, and at the end of 6 waves you go to a new map. I have a lot of issues with OMD Death Trap. There's a lot of feedback that I gave to them in their Discord and stuff, and just a whole bunch of again, their game has so much potential that I think they squandered. They're doing horrible with their game, in my opinion. I think it's really boring. It doesn't. I played Orcs Must Die 1, and playing Orcs Must Die Death Trap feels almost no different, and it's like the 5th or 6th game in their series. It feels like they took the exact same game and just repackaged it into a different format. This game has so much potential that I want to see actually fulfilled and brought to life. So you got to decide whether you want to have it stuck on one stagnant map, for like whatever you decide in terms of waves. If there's a limit, like you get to wave 10 and there's a boss, and that's the end of the run, or if it's just an unlimited amount of waves, you got to decide on what you want for that. And then you need to decide if you want it on one map, or if each wave it's going to a new area. Like, for example, let me load up into the grassy land again, or let me load into the snowy forest because it's smaller and it'll be easier for me to demonstrate. So right now it's just this area, right? So once I finish off this spinner and kill him, if you want to have it like a selection in terms of I could go up, I could go down, or I could go left, or I could go right, and have that be sort of where you're deciding your upgrades, like some sort of, instead of once I finish off these enemies, it automatically loads up into my upgrade selection. Instead of showing this screen, leave it like this and have the selection be a physical appearance on the map of like going north, south, east, or west, and having some sort of little icon indicating what type of upgrade there would be. So there's more of a choice for the player of whether they want to go to, like a shop or something. You could add shops in this. You could go up to a shop, or you could go left to get upgrades, or you could go down to a boss fight, or some kind of like, even if you want to change up, shoot, what is the name of the game? There's another survival roguelike type game like this, like Bullet Heaven or whatever you want to call it, like this that I'm thinking of. Rogue Ganesia. That's it. Rogue Ganesia, I believe is what it's called. And they have variations of terms of like, you have to kill X amount of enemies to go to the next wave, or you have to survive this long to go to the next wave. and adding experience as well. Stuff like that. So it's not just I'm killing these enemies and then at the end of the wave I get a guaranteed upgrade. It'd be cool if there was experience and levels and stuff. Just more in-depth customization and stuff. I do like this though, having like at the end of a wave there's a guaranteed upgrade or something. You could have that as far as like, I don't know how it would feel better for the player, whether you want your base stats to come from character experience levels. Like I level up to level 2 and I get a selection of base stats. At the end of a wave, I get a selection of other type of upgrades in terms of maybe sparks or something. Like grinding against enemies creates sparks that flicker off and deal damage to like AoE, you know, spark damage or whatever, or a blazing trail that leaves a trail of fire behind me that deals damage. Like any type of sort of utility upgrade in a way that's more than just base stats. There's so much you could play with and so many ways you can go about it, and I really wish I could see what more you guys already have in the works so I could give better feedback and I could see like a roadmap or something. Because it's so bare bones at this point where I feel like any feedback I'm giving you guys already have planned. And hopefully I gave something you didn't think about. So hopefully I gave you some food for thought to work with. Man, I'm making this as content, and it's a very long video, and I'm very long-winded. I have trouble shutting up. I hope this is entertaining from a viewer standpoint. I hope this was good for you, Ancient Tech, the devs. Let me pull up the Steam page here for you guys. So there was an update in July. It looks like they made for the Steam Deck on June 22. If I'm not mistaken, the demo also came out in June. So what was that? June, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So not that long ago. So it seems like the devs are actually working on the game. I mean, they went through the trouble to reach out and email me. So I think I would like to think they obviously are still working on the game. It's not like one of your indie dev teams that just release a game and abandon it or anything. It seems like they are trying to actively work on the game. As far as system requirements go, here's for Windows. You got your Mac, your Steam OS, Linux or whatever. I think this is also their first game, because I clicked on Ancient Tech. They have 6 followers. They have all their socials here. But it looks like they don't have any other games, so it seems like this is the first one. And honestly, it's looking good. It has a lot of potential, and I am excited to see this. I am actually going to go ahead and wishlist this, because I am excited. I really want to see this come together. I think that's going to have to wrap it up. I was initially planning to try and keep this at about a 30-minute long video, but I'm so long-winded and I have trouble focusing while playing a game and talking. I mean, if you guys watched my Borderlands 4 review, so bad. Anyway, thank you to Ancient Tech for reaching out to me and asking me to check out your game. Don't worry about, again, not sponsored, not being paid for this. I'm just doing this because I want to be helpful in this regards. I want to help out indie devs and give feedback and help make games better. I enjoy this kind of thing. So yeah, thank you, Ancient Tech, for reaching out to me. I will definitely keep an eye on your game. I hope to see it progress in an amazing way. Thank you to the viewers, whoever came out and watched. Again, sorry, I know it was a long video and it probably felt like I repeated myself over and over again, and I probably felt like I didn't get anywhere. I should have played the game off stream and like taken notes down, like physical notes on what I wanted to address and talk about, and just kind of play the game to show you guys instead of me getting into it and playing it and reacting to it. You know what I mean? But I'm also new to content creation, so I'm also learning. So yeah. Yeah. Anyway, have a good night, good morning, whatever time of day it is where you are in the world. Peace.